Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, BBH Creates. My name is Brittany, and this video today is going to be for Vlogmas Day 12. It's going to be part 2 of yesterday's video where we're making our Christmas journals. And all that I've done to prep is I've selected some papers that I would like my journal to be made out of, and I've folded them in half. So now what I'm going to do with you is cut these down to size, and since our book measures 6 by 6, here's our book here. Everything's dried. It looks pretty good shape. There are some scuffs here, but I'm just going to make that my back of my book. So yeah, it's pretty good shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these down. I'm going to do one at a time. And this is a Southworth resume paper. This is a stationery paper. And this is mixed media paper. Alright, so let's get to cutting. I'm just going to line these up with my grid of my self-healing mat. Measure out 6 and then cut. I might go a little under 6. Maybe a quarter under 6. Okay. And then I'm just going to take my Stanley cutter and we're going to get to work. Okay, I'm going to keep all of my ends because this would be great to use our extra pieces from our front and back cover. Look at that, they fit almost perfectly. That could be another little book. So I'm going to keep those. And then let's see how this looks in our book. So that looks pretty good. If I put it flush with my stitching, there'll be some overhang, and I'm not mad about that because all of our pages are going to be a little bit different size because our paper is different size. So we're going to keep on cutting. Alright. I would have loved to have had like some Christmas paper that I could put in here, some holly berry, but this was the closest that I could find. So we're going to go with it. And I'm a little energetic today, anxious, hyper, what have you, because I was up really early for a dentist checkup. Nothing major, just my usual 6-month cleaning. Everything was fine. I don't know, I get anxious with the dentist. I'm always afraid of the worst, but nothing ever happens, so yeah. And then after that, I did some grocery shopping over at the plaza. I needed to pick up some drinks and what have you, ingredients. And then I went over to the restaurant Chick-fil-A and I got myself some chicken nuggets that I'm going to cut up into smaller pieces to put over top of my baby green salad tonight. Well, for lunch when I get done here. I think I'm going to make steak hash for dinner actually. But yeah, so I've been at it since the sun came up, more or less. Now I'm having difficulty cutting this one because this is a heavier weight paper. So see how I cut into that? Because I'm being impatient with my extra energy that I have. Like, get it done, just cut. But yeah, so I think I'm just about ready for Christmas. I do want to do some more baking, which I think is going to be one of my soon-to-be Vlogmas videos. And then I told you guys I was going to probably do a video on some Christmas light viewing. So you've got that to look forward to. And then yesterday, after I was done doing the video for you guys, I went ahead and started to make, like, gather up all my notes and stuff from previous recordings and get it all together so I can start journaling it in these that I'm making, this book that I'm making. And I decided, like, for the days that I did the like top 10 songs and top 10 movies, I decided I'm gonna put those in like little envelopes, like little pockets. But instead of making full pockets, like that would be the same page as my book, I made a smaller version, which I'll show you guys here in a little bit. And it is something that I learned from the 10-day gratitude challenge that I just finished with Claire that does Beyond the Fold Papery. And it's like the easiest way to make a little pocket for tuck-ins and things. And you're folding a piece of paper, and I just thought that was amazing. Before, I would always take like an actual envelope and cut the closure off of it and just like paste that down as my envelope or pocket. But now that I know, now that she taught me how to make those pockets out of just like a regular piece of copy paper, I'm excited because I could do pockets with like fancy stationery. I could do pockets with, you know, wrapping paper, which is what I did. And since I'm talking about it, before I forget, I'm going to grab it right now so I can show you guys. It's just right over here on my other table. Alright, let me take some of this stuff out. These are all things that I want to put in my journal when I get it done. Isn't that the cutest? And this is just the same paper that our book is that we made. And so what I was thinking I would do is put it right here on the front cover, inside of the front cover. And then these are Job's Journal's Advent calendar print-off that he did for his Patreon. And I'm just going to put them in there until I'm ready to use them, and then whenever it's time to use them, I will take them out and I'll, you know, say, okay, December 17th, I did this, journal a little bit. So yeah, I was so excited about that. Alright, now let's see how all of our pages look inside our book. Okay, looking pretty good. So here's what our book looks like so far. You can see how the mixed media paper is sticking out further than the stationery and resume paper, and that's because it was a 9x12 book where the stationery and resume is 8x11. I think I might cut that down. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to cut it down. Usually I would probably just leave that, but because it's only 2 signatures that are hanging out, I'm going to cut it down. And when I leave that is like if I'm doing like every other page a different paper. So how much do we actually need to take off here? Okay, a little over 1/4. So I'll go just above 1/2 here. That looks about right. Okay. And if you guys don't like how I am just eyeballing stuff, like if you would rather have a perfect, pristinely measured book, I would recommend that you check out Handmade Book Club. And that's by Ali Manning. She also has a YouTube channel and a blog with tons of resources, because I belong to that club, and that's where I have been, that's pretty good, checking out different types of ways to make books. This book I actually taught myself how to make about a year and a half ago. And but she also has different stitching patterns for your spines. So if you don't want to do a Coptic stitch like I'm going to do here in a couple minutes, you could go over to her website or YouTube and check out some other ways that you might be able to assemble your book. And I'm really excited for like this month's book challenge. I haven't done it yet. I haven't started it. But the stitches in the spine of the book. You're okay, Snoopy. He's not even in the window. You're whining and the cat's not even in the window. Silly puppy. Anyways, this month's book, the spine has a word stitched into your stitching. Well, not stitched into it, but your stitches spell out a word. And I've always wanted to learn how to do that, so I'm very excited about that. All right, let's see where we're at. That looks much better. Much better. Okay. Is that the same order? No, it is not. Fix that. I think that's good. Yep. Okay, so now we're going to start punching our holes. And again, I'm just going to eyeball it. What can I say? I like to live dangerously, folks. Okay, so I'm going to start with this one. And I'm just getting them as lined up as I can. Okay, so what you're going to want to do... Do I have a pencil? I don't think I have a pencil. I'm going to need that. Let me grab a pencil real quick. Just right at my other desk. We'll do a mechanical. It'll probably break, but we'll give it our best go. So what you're going to want to do is line up all your pages as best as you can. And I know you guys can't see this, but as flush as you can, and then you just want to measure out. So, do I have a different one? Let's try this one. Okay, so the halfway point is going to be about here. Then I'm just going to go an equal distance out from that. Or they're about equal. And then again for our end stitches. There, that looks about right. And then what you're going to do is you're going to score them or mark them with your pencil going up using your little L ruler. And you'll see this better once I flip it up for you. Alright, so now we got our marks in. So this is what we've just done. We've used our little triangle ruler and we've marked all of our pages. And if you notice, I put 2 lines here, and that is so I know that those are the top of my pages. So this is going to be our book here. That's going to be the top. Okay? So now we can start punching. And what I do first is I put my book as if it's going to be. So this is the front and this is the back, and that's exactly how it's going to be. So what I do then is I put it on my little craft foam, because you guys know I like to hear that thump when the awl goes through. I'm going to center the pages slightly off from the spine, and then I'm going to punch with my awl in line with the marks that we just made. Hear the thump? That's how you know you've gone all the way through. Make sure that's still straight. Okay. So there, now we have our holes, and you can hold this up to the light to make sure that you've gone all the way through. Then what I like to do is I like to support either side of the hole and go a little bit further on my awl, because the awl gets wider as you go to the handle, and that will give us a larger sewing hole. So that's just what I'm doing now. Alright, so there's our front cover. Now with the back, because you punched through, I just go back on the outside of it, and I go from the back to the inside with the awl. And that gives you the correct positioning of your hole. It pushes the paper back through the hole, I should say. And if it doesn't, like that one didn't, you can just take a bone folder and press your paper down. But really, once you get your thread in there, you're probably not going to see it anyways. So just making those holes a little bit wider. Okay. Alright, and then you can put your book together. There you have it. Okay. So where are we at with time? We have enough time. We can sew. Let's go ahead and start sewing. I picked out a wax thread that is very close to the green from the berries on the wrapping paper, and I'm going to use a curved needle. This is personal preference, guys. If you don't like these needles, by all means do not use them. If you would prefer a straight one, go ahead and use straight. But what you're going to do is you're going to take your book and you're going to measure out the height of your book times the pieces of material you're going through. So I have 6 signatures, a back cover, and a front cover. So I'm going to measure out 8 times, and it's not going to be perfect. I'm going to go over on both sides. That's going to give me a little bit of extra for good measure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'll go a little bit more. I'll cut where that knot is actually. These are not the correct scissors, but they're all that I have at the moment, and they did the job. That's all we want, right? Alright, get my foam out of the way, put that over here, and then we're going to get to sewing. Now, like I said, I taught myself how to do this. There are probably other ways that you can do Coptic stitch books. However, this is the way that I know how to do it, and it works for me. I've made several books this way. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your last signature, go to the center. Oh, I'm sorry, we haven't punched our holes in our signatures. Let's do that real quick. So to punch your holes, you're just going to open your signature and go straight through. Make sure on the top one that you go through the bottom mark, not the top mark. That's just your reminder that that's the top of your book. You're okay, Snoopy. You're all right. Okay, so that's my top mark. You're okay. Alright. We'll just keep going. okay, Snoopy. Sorry, guys. He thinks that his brother, Astro, is in our front window, and he is not. So he's driving himself crazy, going back and forth in front of it, thinking that he's going to be able to surprise the cat. And the cat is actually in the back of the house. Don't you love pets? They can be so silly sometimes. Alright, almost done, guys. One more. One more. I know it looks like I'm going through at an angle, but I'm not. I'm just going at an angle so that I can make sure that I'm hitting the hole right. Okay, so let's put our book back together so I know I'm using the right sides here. And what I'm checking for is to make sure that my papers are going the same way. So these are all tops. You see the extra pencil mark? This is going the right way, and this is going the right way. And what I mean is you don't want to sew your book where your front is fine, but say your back is not. That's why I punch them the way that I do, where it's like the book is supposed to be, but it's closed, so that I ensure I get my holes on the right side. Alright, so we're just going to go back to where we were a little bit ago before I missed a step there. You've got your threaded needle of your choice, and you're just going to take your signature, open to the center, and you're going to start at the bottom and go through. Pull your needle through. Now you're not going to knot your thread. You're going to leave a tail out. Okay? Now what you're going to do, this is a little tricky. You're going to take your thread, come around to the outside of the back of the book, go through your bottom hole, go to the left of your thread, pull through, make sure you haven't lost your tail, pull so that it's snug. Okay, you're going to go around both pieces of thread, finish off your thread with a slip stitch or a knot, starting of a knot. And then go back through that bottom hole of your signature. And that really, guys, is the hardest part. Okay, pull it snug. Then you're going to go out through your next signature hole. Do the same thing. Go to the outside of your back cover and then come through on the left side of your signature thread. Pull it snug, and it's okay if your first stitch gets loose. That's going to happen until you get your other stitches caught up. Okay, and then you're going to repeat the process. You're going to go under both, make your slip stitch, pull tight, and then go back into that hole. Alright, so you're just going to keep going with that process. I'll be right back. Alright, so what I have done is I've completed my other stitches. And then what we're going to do after you have finished your last stitch, instead of going back in to that signature hole like you did for all these other ones, you're going to take your next signature, make sure that your top reminder mark lines up with your other top reminder mark, and then you're going to go the opposite direction and go from the top signature hole to the bottom. Alright, and I'll hold it up so you can see it for this next part. Alright, so after you come out your second signature hole of your second signature, you're going to take your needle and you're going to go down to the previous signature, loop behind your closed knot that you made, pull through, and then you're going to go back through that same second signature hole so that you create like a V-stitch. I'll show you as soon as I get this done here. Okay, see that? And then you're going to do that for the rest of your signature holes. You're going to repeat that. You're going to come out, go down to your previous one, loop through, and then come back up and go through that same hole of your signature. Oh, want to be careful you don't go through your thread there. There we go. See there? So you just keep repeating that until you get to the end, and then you're going to do the same thing and go the opposite direction with your next signature. Alright, so I'm going to do that now, and I'll see you in a bit. Alright guys, checking in. How are you doing? I've added a couple more signatures, and I'm just going to keep sewing. Just remember to go through the previous stitch to get that V-stitch. And this does take practice. It took me a couple books before I felt confident in the patterns and directions that I was going. I do stitch mine pretty tightly. That's just my personal preference. There are some bookmakers who like to do Coptic stitch loosely, and the benefits of that, in my opinion and from my experience, is that if you want to add like a lot of tip-ins or pockets, or if you're going to paste a lot of stuff down on the pages, a looser Coptic stitch is great for allowing for your journal to bulk up. So that's an option you might want to keep in mind as you're doing your stitches. I do mine tight because I don't like a book that wobbles when I open it. Not that every loose Coptic stitch wobbles, it's just the ones that I have experience with did, and I found that less pleasing of an experience using the book. So a lot of bookmaking techniques and methods are personal preference. I mean, there's lots of ways to make a book, and there's lots of ways to stitch a binding. However, there are some things that you just can't get away from in order to have a good, solid book that's not going to fall apart when you use it pretty heavily. So I'm going to continue stitching, and we're getting close to the final part, which is adding on our last signature and our front cover. And that is a little bit tricky also. It's something I'm still working to perfect myself. So do be kind to yourself when you get to that stage of the process. Don't get frustrated if you find yourself struggling to get your stitches to hold together. It happens to the best of us. But yeah, essentially you're going to do the opposite of what you did to attach your back cover. Alright, so now I'm going to go into my last signature, and to attach your cover you're going to go through it first. So remember when we did the bottom, we came out through the signature to start our thread, but our first stitch was through our back cover. So our final stitches are going to go through our front cover. So again, you go through your front cover, and this is where it gets a little tricky. It might do you better if you hold your book. Snoopy, you're okay. Remember to go through your bottom or your previous signature before you go through your signature hole. Alright, there we go. And then once you get through, you just want to line things up really good before you pull your thread tighter. Okay, so now you're going to go out the second hole. Sorry, you guys just saw my head. Trying to lean so I can see, but also so I can show you. Go out your second signature hole. Tighten things up best you can. Like I said, be kind to yourself during this part because it is tricky. Okay? Then you're going to go through your cover. Make sure you're on the left side of your thread when you come back out. Go down to your previous signature stitch. Pull everything as tight as you can get it, or as loose as you want it. It's up to you. And then go back through your signature hole. Okay? And you're just going to repeat that until you get to the end. Oh, Snoopy. You're stressing me out, dog. He's stressing himself out over the cat, trying to find where the cat is, and in turn, he's stressing his mommy out. Alright. Nearly there. 3 more holes to go through. Okay. Go down to the previous one. Hold this up so you can see it. See how I'm going between the previous stitch before I come back out? Then we're going to go back to make our V stitch. I know some people like close their stitches when they're doing their cover, their top cover. I haven't had much success with that, so I just do mine this way. Sorry guys, he's really trying to find the cat. Okay, I know it looks like I'm gonna run out of yarn, or thread, but I'm not. I'll have just enough. Okay, down through the previous stitch, signature stitch, back through your current one. Snoopy, Frederick, you're okay? You just want to be on my video, is that what it is? You want your 15 minutes of fame, do you? I got him a toy when I was out. I think I might have mentioned that. When I was shopping this morning, I went to the pet store and I got all of our pets some little Christmas treats and some toys. And I got him a little stuffed duck that has a squeaker in it. And his middle name, one of his middle names, because he has several, is Quincy, for Quincy Adams. I think his last name was Adams. Anyways, the MD doctor, that there's a TV show from like, I don't know, the 60s, 70s. And we call him Quincy because, much like that character in the film, Snoopy likes to dissect his stuffed animal toys. Okay, guys. Hey, Snoopy, you're okay. Calm down. Yeah, you're fine. Okay, so there's our stitches. What, you want to be up here? No. Now you're going to end off by finishing with a knot on the inside. You're okay. And then go the opposite direction. So we have a box knot. Snoopy. Okay, so there you have that. I'll use my makeshift scissors that I'm not bookbinding scissors. There you go. And then we're going to flip to the back. And we're going to knot this thread as well, like we did with the front cover. There we go. And then one more in the opposite. And you are done. You are done. So now what you could do is, to smooth down your tails, is take a bone folder and just press them down. You could press them along this other one so they stick together because it's wax thread, or you can just leave it. And there is our Christmas journal Coptic stitch binding book. It will lay flat, which is one of the things that I love about this stitch. And it'll be more comfortable for you to work in. You can see all your beautiful stitches. And then what I like to do too, because see how this is a little loose, is I like to pull when I'm finished so that it's level with the pages, because that just gets the thread kind of all going the same way. And then I like to close. There you go. Look how pretty. You should be very proud of yourself. This is a difficult stitch in my opinion and in my personal experience. And if you've made it to this point and you have a functioning book, you should be very proud. Good job, guys. Alright, so that's what I have for you today. I am going to have some fun getting this all personalized and do some journaling. I might even put my little envelope in there. But yeah. So, happy Vlogmas Day 12. Thank you for watching. I hope that you could see everything that I did and that your book turns out beautifully. You can just erase that top mark that we made with our pencils if it bothers you. But yeah, that's what I have. So I will see you guys in tomorrow's Vlogmas video. And I did put a poll up for those of you who were there for my Vlogmas Day 1 and 2 videos, asking which journal you think I should start 2024 with. So you might want to check that out. I appreciate your votes. I appreciate your comments and feedback. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.